And it was super sweet, but here's the deal. You have to tell people how to love you. That's one of the things I said yesterday. And what's really, really funny is that, like I have what I call the not love languages. Gary Chapman created the 5 love languages, and then I have what's called the not love languages, but should be, right? Like when somebody sends you a meme that makes you laugh, when someone sends you a song and says, that made me think of you. That is like the tippity top of my love languages. Also, love language is understanding and loving my favorite drinks, or knowing my favorite drinks and my favorite food. I think sushi dates are a love language, and I think old fashions are too. So but here's the deal. I regularly tell people these things. And so my people regularly send me memes. Hey, hi, how are you? Happy Wednesday. It is a very beautiful, at the time of recording, it is February, and it's a high of 82 here in Dallas-Fort Worth. So we are living our very best lives. The song of the day is What's Love Got to Do with It by the late, great Tina Turner. What has love got to do with it? We're going to talk about it. I hope you're excited. I just got back from a whirlwind 24-hour trip to Austin, and I had the opportunity to speak life and speak wisdom into a group of individuals talking about your individual self. And it's funny because, I draft a message, I create a message, and every time it changes a little bit, right? Something happens and it changes, and there becomes a theme that wasn't even supposed to be a theme. And every time I speak, it happens. And, it, at time of recording right now, Valentine's Day was last week. And there's a lot of people who hate the commercialism of Valentine's Day. And there's a lot of people who have different things to say about that. And me being one of them. Okay, let's just pause for a second. Let's pause for a second and have a real talk on the fact that I didn't really think Valentine's Day was all that. Back in the day, it was very much we're not doing anything. This is not, I've done things for my kids, but it's just it's never been one of those things that has ever been celebrated. Just because of the commercialism. But then this year, I was like, as someone who truly loves love, right? Who loves being loved, who loves loving others, why would I not participate in this activity? And so, but what was really interesting was that I don't know what happened, what changed in the cosmos, but there was just so many people celebrating love. And at my conference in Austin yesterday, there was this overlying theme of love and safety and security. And in talking about yourself and owning who you are and owning that aspect of you in order to be successful in business. And so I wanted to jump on today. I literally just got back from Austin, and I wanted to tell you a little bit about what love has got to do with it. If you're new here, I do subscribe to the 5 love languages. I think they are very, very important. I think that they are strong, and it's important for you to understand your love languages, but it's important for you to understand the love languages of those around you. If you've never studied the love languages or you've never taken the test, I will have it in the show notes. If you have not taken it, I highly suggest you take it. There is a kids version, a teen version. Make your spouse take it too. And it's one of the things that I teach because love is the language of trust. Love is our first form of safety and security as children. And primarily, that's what we needed, right? We needed to be safe and loved in order to survive. And so love is the language of trust. And that's why I teach it to business owners. That's why I teach it to everybody that I talk to, because you have to understand the love of the people around you in order to create, 1, a trustworthy environment, but 2, to be able to continue on in successful relationships. It's important to know what your love language is, because you need to be able to tell other people how to love you. And if you can't actually if you don't have the language or the words to do it, then you feel like you're not being loved. You're not filled up. And not being in a space of love creates, you guessed it, our favorite spiral: shame, blame, guilt, well, and bonus, resentment. Okay. And so it's important for you to know yours, but it's important for you to know the love languages of everybody else, because a lot of people like to guess. A lot of people think that they know what their spouse's love language is, and then they take the test and they're completely shocked. And they're completely shocked partially because they probably were loving their spouse through what their presumed love language was, and their spouse or partner, friend, etc., never accurately told them. They never expressed through words like what their actual love language is. And here's the deal. As the person who is loving an individual, you don't get to determine what does and does not feel like love to another individual, just like you don't get to determine someone's emotions. You have to listen, right? You have to listen to what the people around you want for love and give it to them in that way. It's very similar to, you can't just walk up to somebody who speaks a different language than you and just be like, well, speak English, because that's what you want. It's very similar with love languages. So what has love got to do with it? Everything. You need to know the people in your life, their love language, so that you can be there to support them, to make them feel seen, heard, cared for, safe. It's one of the fundamental things in life that makes life worth living. So why would you not want to love the people in your life the way that they want to be loved? Now I'm going to go through the 5 love languages because it's very important, and you can read the book, but here are some concepts with it. And what's really important to understand is it is truly a language. Like, it is first and foremost a language, and you may not speak that language fluently, but you can learn it. And it's not hard to learn it for those that you love. So step 1, we're going to talk about words of affirmation, because that's my number 1 love language. Okay. Words of affirmation, people just want to be told how much they are loved. They love to be told how great that they are, that they matter, that you're proud of them, that you're grateful that they exist. One of the greatest words of affirmation in the world is thank you to a words of affirmation person. If you have words of affirmation people in your life, tell them, I am just so proud of you. Okay. Next up, acts of service. Acts of service people, man, I love it because you could fill up the dishwasher for them and they are thrilled and overjoyed. They just love when you do something for them without having to ask. It's a simple concept. You just do it without having to ask. You stop and got their favorite coffee, or you showed up and filled up their car. Acts of service people want and desire love that they don't have to ask for. And a lot of times they feel like they're asking and not getting it in return. Or if they have to ask, they feel unloved. So there are certain people that exist that, yes, leaving your coffee cup inside of the sink feels like a lack of love to them. Okay. Next up, we'll talk about gifts, receiving gifts. Receiving gifts, people just love the art of getting a gift. It does not matter the cost. It could cost 50 cents. It could cost, $1 million. It doesn't matter. What matters to them is that you thought of them enough to get them this gift. I love receiving gifts, people, too, because they're excited about the paper and the package and everything else in between. They just love the fact that you thought of them. They also receiving gifts, people typically give really, really good gifts too, because they love the art of the hunt and they know what it feels like to receive a really cool gift. Some people think receiving gifts, people are conceited, right? Like, why do you need to have a gift to know that you're loved? It's not that they have to have an item. It's that you went out of your way and then you thought of them. You thought of them and you got it. It could be even just their favorite candy bar or their favorite drink as well. It's just the thought that counts and the action behind the thought as well. Let's see. Next up, we will do physical touch. Everyone thinks that every man on the planet has physical touch as their top love language, and I'm here to tell you that that's not the case. Okay, while their primal beings do require more touch than females, that assuming that a male's first love language is physical touch is doing them a disservice. So I just wanted to start with that. But physical touch as a love language, they want to be in your space. They want to be near you. We know the physical touch people because they're the ones like rubbing your shoulder when they're talking to you. They always give a high five. They judge people based off of their handshakes. And if you are really close with them, they love a good hug and they love a good cuddle. Physical touch people, they want to be in your space. And here's what's really important too. Non-verbal reactions also count to physical touch people. So how you show up or how you respond when they show up in your space. Do you light up? Are you neutral? What is your face saying when you're talking to them? Physical touch people respond. They just want to be in your space. And what's really important too is that adults assume that physical touch is going to lead somewhere. Physical touch people who are high in that love language want to have a physical interaction with you that doesn't have to lead somewhere. And that's really important. Now it can, but they don't want to feel the pressure all of the time because they just want to be in your space. And last but certainly not least is quality time people. They just want to be with you. It doesn't matter. Are we running errands? Are we watching TV? Are we working side by side? Quality time people feel love just being in your space. I have a lot of clients who I've helped throughout the years where it's like, well, my husband just wants me to sit and watch TV. Well, he wants you to sit and watch TV, not just because it's to watch TV. He just wants to spend time with you. Or he wants me to watch and play video games or XYZ. They just want to be in your space and they want to spend time with you. And so it could be structured activities, but it also really could just be hanging out, running errands. I have quite a few friends who are high in quality time and, we're all busy moms. And one of those things that we do is we run errands together because why not? We have to go to the grocery store anyways. We can spend time together. We can talk, we can commiserate, and we can be a community. And then both while getting stuff done. Okay. That's our quality time people. They just want to be in your space. What's really important to understand about our love languages, and it's kind of a hard truth to hear, is that oftentimes as adults, our number one love language that we are seeking after is the love language that we didn't get as a child. It's typically the love language we wanted so badly as a child, but we didn't have the words to say it. And our parents didn't really have the words to look for it, acknowledge it, or, give it to us. We don't know what we don't know. And so oftentimes as adults, that's what it is. We are looking for love that we did not get. And fun fact, you can love in a different way than you want to receive love. And so you can give out love. You may be a receiving gifts person and give out love and physical touch, and that is okay. What we have found in a lot of research is that not me, I wasn't a part of the research. It's just research that I've read, is that oftentimes we give out love in the way that we got love as kids because we monkey see, monkey do, right? We model based off of what we were seeing. So that's why there's sometimes a discrepancy between the love that you want and the love that you give, which I think is kind of cool. So those are all of the love languages. And that was a quick run through and it was super sweet, but here's the deal. You have to tell people how to love you. That's one of the things I said yesterday. And what's really, really funny is that, I have what I call the not love languages. Gary Chapman created the 5 love languages. And then I have what's called the not love languages, but should be, right? Like when somebody sends you a meme that makes you laugh, when someone sends you a song and says, that made me think of you. That is like the tippity top of my love languages. Also, love language is understanding and loving my favorite drinks or knowing my favorite drinks and my favorite food. I think sushi dates are a love language, and I think old fashions are too. So but here's the deal. I regularly tell people these things. And so my people regularly send me memes or songs that they heard that thought of me, or ask me if we could have, and this could be considered quality time, right? Like if I have time and we can meet out on a lovely patio and have a margarita in the nice sunshine. I tell my people what I need. And why this is very important is because when what does love have to do with it? When we're going downhill and shit is hitting the fan because we're only human and that life happens to us, the thing that makes it easier is love. You need to learn the love languages of the people around you, because that's you bring in love and reinforcement to their lives when the hard times are happening, and watch how it changes their life. Watch how they show up. It's amazing. We can be going through really, really hard times. And I have a lot of people in my life who are experiencing very difficult things, sick parents and friends dying. It's just, there's a lot of heavy in the world right now. And because I ask my friends pretty regularly what it is that they need, and they tell me, I can show up for them. I can show up on their behalf to love them even just a little bit. Because here's the deal. Nobody has gotten worse from love. Now hear me, love, like actual love, not the love, like if you want to get biblical with it, love is patient, love is kind, love is caring. That is what love is. And I know that there's a lot of people out there who experience what love is not. And so hear me out when I say that no one has ever gotten worse from extra love, real love, the patient, kind, caring, the kind of love that shows up. So I tell people all the time how to treat me and how to love me. And what's really funny is when you start telling people how to love you and you start setting those boundaries and you start showing up in that way, people will either be on board or they won't. And if they aren't, you know what? They're not meant to stay. And that can be kind of hard for some people to hear, is that, sometimes people are here for a reason and a season, and maybe some people aren't for forever. But I've always found that the people, when I say, like, this is how I would love for you to show up for me, or this is how to love me or care for me, and if they can't do that, okay, that's just fine. You're welcome to be in my space. You're welcome to be in my circle, but you're not welcome to stay. Like, you don't get to be so close to me anymore. And so I want to give you the permission to tell people how to love you. It's a very vulnerable thing. It's a vulnerable action to tell somebody, hey, this is how you can love me better. But watch how your world changes when you are loved so wholly. And watch how the world of those around you changes when they are loved so wholly. It's a very beautiful thing, and it makes the world easier. What does love have to do with it? Everything. It has everything to do with it. It's, I personally believe, why we're here, to experience a joy-filled life that is full of love and understanding and caring. We have a lot of hard in our world, but there's a lot of light and a lot of love. So here, my challenge to you is to go out and tell people, the important people in your life, how to love you. Tell them what you need. Tell them how to show up for you. Create those boundaries and watch how it changes your life. I promise you, you will only get better with a little bit more love. I hope you have a great rest of your day. If you discover, different things that make you feel loved, feel free to slide into my DM, send me a message. I want to hear about it, because nothing fills me up quite like joy, gratitude, and love. Have a great rest of your week.